Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Natasha. We're going to have so much fun exploring Chinese history together. If you love history, make sure to stick around and subscribe to my channel. Well, let's start it. China had 24 dynasties in total, which can be roughly grouped into 8 periods. Later, I'll gradually walk you through China's 5,000 years of history. In today's session, let's start with a quick overview of the first 4 periods. This will give friends interested in Chinese history a general framework to build on. Let's begin with the 3 sovereigns and 5 emperors. This is where ancient Chinese civilization really began. You've got Sui Renshi, the one who figured out how to make fire by drilling wool. Then Fu Xi, he created Ba Gua and came up with early writing, taught people how to fish and hunt, and even set up the first marriage system. And Shen Nongshi, total legend. He invented farm tools, got agriculture going, and tasted tons of plants, discovered which ones could be used as medicine. Now, real talk. A lot of what we know comes from ancient texts and some archaeological clues. There's no direct proof yet, so their stories sit right between myth and history. But they represent how Han Chinese ancestors built their foundation of civilization step by step. That's why they're remembered as the original pioneers of Chinese culture. Alright, let's jump into our second chapter, the Xia, Shang, and Zhou dynasty, the real groundwork of Chinese history. So the Xia dynasty is considered the first dynasty in Chinese records, but honestly it's pretty legendary. Why? Well, there's no solid written proof from that time, just some scattered symbols and markings. According to legends like Yu the Great taming the floods, they began setting up early forms of administration and how to run a state. Then comes to the Shang dynasty, and this is the first one we are sure existed. Thanks to actual writing from that period, their bronze work was seriously next level. And the whole society totally into spirit worship. Think lots of oracle, rituals, and sacrifices. Later on, during the spring and autumn and warring states period, things got really interesting with the 100 schools of thought. Basically a massive explosion of ideas. This is where legends like Confucius and Lao step onto the scene, shaping Chinese culture for literally thousands of years to come. Alright, let's dive into part 3, the Qing and Han dynasty, where China really became a big family. So imagine Qin Shi Huang. As the ultimate project manager, he took 6 separate puzzle pieces together, those warring states, and snapped them together into China's first unified empire. You've definitely heard of his big moves, creating one writing system for all, standardizing rows and exos, and of course building that epic Great Wall. Then the Han dynasty stepped up and leveled up everything. They kicked the Xiongnu northward, opened up the Silk Road for business, and made Confucianism the official mindset. Honestly, the Han dynasty was so iconic that most Chinese people still define themselves as being part of the Han ethnic group, and we write using Han character. That's just how deep their legacy runs. Now, here on to our 4th period, the Wei, Jing, and Northern and the Southern dynasty. So this was China's big breakup era. It lasted over 300 years, but sometimes breaking up lets new things come together. This was actually a super important time for different cultures to mix. Basically, China split in 2. Up north, you had what's called the 16 kingdoms, mostly started by non-Han groups like the Xiongnu, Xianbei, Jie, Diqiang. Meanwhile, down south, they went through a bunch of dynasties really fast. First is Jing, then Song, Qi, Liang, and Chen. With all the moving and mixing happening, these northern groups and the Han Chinese started blending together. And you know what? It wasn't just people mixing, ideas were mixing too. Confucianism wasn't the only game in town anymore. Buddhism and Taoism really took off, making people's way of thinking much more diverse. So yeah, even though it was a messy, divided time politically, all this mixing and blending actually set the stage for China's next big golden age, the awesome Sui and Tang dynasty. Well, that's all for this episode. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this historical journey, give this video a thumbs up and see you in the next one. Peace.